There's this whole part of the government that shapes pretty much every part of your daily life, but you probably don't even think about it. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this invisible government and see how it all works. I mean, really think about it. When you grab a Tylenol for a headache or get a flu shot, who's the one that gives the final stamp of approval and says, yep, this is safe and it actually works?
And what about when you see an ad that just sounds too good to be true? Or you get one of those annoying scam calls? Who's the one that's supposed to step in and shut that down? Well, the answer to all of these questions is actually the same.
We're talking about a whole network of powerful government agencies. They kind of form this invisible government that's always working in the background, making and enforcing the rules that basically structure our entire modern world. So, where did all this come from? Well, it really started when the country began shifting from small farms to giant factories. Suddenly, with industrialization, life got way more complicated and, honestly, a lot more dangerous. The old ways of doing things just couldn't keep up. So, to deal with this brand new reality, a new solution had to be invented. Some people even call it the fourth branch of government, this whole system of specialized agencies built to handle all these complex modern problems. And the official term for one of these is an administrative agency. Basically, it's a government body that gets its start from a special law passed by Congress, which is called an organic statute. You can think of that statute as the agency's birth certificate and its job description all rolled into one. It says, okay, you exist now, and your whole mission is to, say, protect public health. Okay, so that brings up a really good question. Where do these agencies actually fit in with the classic three branches of government that we all learned about in school? Like, where do they get all this power? Well, it's really a partnership. You've got the legislative branch, that's Congress. They're the ones who pass the laws to create the agency in the first place. But then it's the executive branch, with the president at the top, that actually runs the agency day to day by picking its leaders. This whole process of handing off authority has a name. It's called delegation. Think of it like this. Congress is the CEO of a huge company. They can't be an expert on everything, right? So they delegate specific jobs, like food safety or clean air, to specialized teams. And this power is a really big deal. These agencies can even act like mini courts, using their own judges to decide if their specific rules have been broken. Okay, so enough with the theory. Let's see how this stuff actually plays out in the real world. We're going to look at three of the most powerful agencies out there. First up is a big one, the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. This agency has been around since 1906, and its mission is simple but absolutely massive: to protect the public health of the entire nation. And when I say massive, I mean it. The FDA's reach is huge. We're talking about the safety of medicines and vaccines, the medical devices used in hospitals, the food in your grocery cart, and even cosmetics and tobacco products. If you use it or consume it, chances are the FDA has had a hand in regulating it. Let me give you a perfect example of their power. You might remember back in 2018, there was a critical shortage of EpiPens, those life-saving devices for people with severe allergies. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a full-blown public health emergency. So the FDA stepped in and took two really crucial actions. First, they used their scientific authority to extend the expiration dates on some EpiPens, which immediately helped with the supply problem. But the bigger move was this. They fast-tracked the approval for the first-ever generic version. Now, this didn't just fix the shortage, it completely changed the game by bringing competition into a market that desperately needed it. All right, let's move on to our second agency, the FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission. Created back in 1914, the FTC has this cool dual mission. One, to protect consumers, that's you, and two, to make sure businesses are competing fairly. Ever put your number on the National Do Not Call list? Yep, that's the FTC. They're also the ones who go after those phone scams and companies that run bogus ads. And on the business side of things, they're the referees, enforcing antitrust laws to break up monopolies. For example, when AOL and Time Warner wanted to merge, the FTC stepped in and forced them to accept some strict conditions to make sure they didn't crush all the competition. And for our third example, we have the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. And this one has a wild origin story. Seriously, people were getting more and more worried about pollution, and then it happened. Ohio's Cuyahoga River was so full of industrial junk that it literally caught on fire. That shocking image helped kickstart the creation of the EPA, the agency that now sets the rules for the air we breathe and the water we drink. So, after hearing all that, you have to wonder, with all this power to make rules, investigate, and hand out punishments, who's watching them? I mean, who regulates the regulators? Well, the first and biggest check on their power is the U.S. Constitution itself. It guarantees something called due process, which is really just a fundamental way of saying that agencies have to be fair. Their rules can't just be random, they have to be reasonable and based on actual facts. And then there's the day-to-day rulebook for these agencies, which is called the Administrative Procedure Act. Think of the APA as the official operations manual. It forces agencies to be transparent, it requires them to let the public comment on new rules, and it makes sure every single decision they make is backed up by solid evidence. So, let's bring this all home. Why does this invisible government matter so much to you and me? Because it's everywhere. From the moment you pour your cereal in the morning to the ads you scroll past on your phone, their work is all around you. The safety of your food, the efficiency of your car, the quality of the air you're breathing right now, all of it is influenced by these agencies. And at the end of the day, that's what they're there for. As one of our sources puts it so well, their main goal is to protect the rights of everyone, regular people, big companies, you name it, by using these administrative laws to keep things fair. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. These agencies were created to deal with the complexities of the industrial age. So now, as our world gets even more complicated with things like artificial intelligence, data privacy, and climate change, what are the new challenges that these agencies are going to have to solve for us tomorrow?